First off, we have Kim K, who exposed Taylor Swift. In 2015, Kanye West released a song called Famous, and in the song he has a lyric that says, "Me and Taylor might still have sex. I made that beat famous." Kanye called Taylor to get her approval, and she said yes. But when the song was released, Taylor said she had no idea what was happening. Well, Kim K came to the rescue and pulled out the receipts. Kim leaked a video online of Taylor on the phone with Kanye, giving him permission for the lyrics. Next, we have Leah Remini, who exposed Tom Cruise. Leah Remini called out Tom Cruise for his role in Scientology amid the success of Top Gun Maverick. Leah left Scientology in 2003, having since become a vocal critic of the church through her Emmy-winning docuseries. She personally interacted with Tom during her time as a Scientologist and even attended his wedding to Katie Holmes. Leah further alleged that Tom was involved with toxic behavior within Scientology. Quote, "He is very aware of the toxicity that goes on in Scientology," Leah told the Daily Beast in 2018. "He's been part of it." Following the success of Top Gun Maverick, ex-Scientologist Claire Headley made a Facebook post about how the movie reminds her of, quote, "Tom Cruise and his crimes against humanity. Tom Cruise promotes a dangerous cult that destroyed my family too, the same cult that almost cost me my marriage and my life," the post continued. "I will not watch the movie, nor will I ever support or approve of this scam of a man. Trust me, Tom Cruise knows exactly who he is supporting and the things that organization perpetrates. I worked with him while I was there." Next, we have Nikki Tutorials, who exposed Ellen DeGeneres. YouTuber Nikki Tutorials has spoken out again about how she was treated on the Ellen DeGeneres show. According to Pop Crave, she was greeted by an angry, overworked intern and then not given the same VIP treatment as the other Ellen show guests. She said she wasn't allowed to use the bathroom closest to her because it was, quote, "reserved for the Jonas Brothers." She appeared on the show a few years ago after she came out as transgender in an emotional YouTube video. In a subsequent interview with a Dutch talk show, she suggested that DeGeneres was, quote, "cold and distant when the cameras were turned off." Next, we have Jeanette McCurdy, who exposed Dan Schneider, the creator of lots of Nickelodeon shows. The Amanda Show, Zoe 101, Drake and Josh, iCarly, Victorious, and Sam and Cat are among Schneider's famous works. Jeanette McCurdy has been one of the most vocal about her horrible experiences during her acting stint on Nickelodeon. The actress was generous in sharing her thoughts about her run with iCarly and Sam and Cat, saying she's embarrassed by her past roles and that Nickelodeon caused her to leave acting. She never names him in her book, but instead, McCurdy refers to Dan Schneider as the creator. McCurdy writes in her book of his two distinct sides. One side was excessively complimentary and supportive, while the other could be cruel and controlling. She wrote of moments when he pressured her to drink while underage, gave her an unwanted massage, and forced her to wear a bikini for a photo shoot. The actor wrote of a dinner between the pair where the creator wanted her to drink alcohol. When she refused, he told her that the kids on Victorious, another Nickelodeon show, drank and always partied. Jeanette McCurdy wrote that he often compared the two casts in an effort to make the iCarly cast do things. Given the success of his teen sitcoms, plus the popularity that followed some upcoming stars, it was a shocker when allegations about his behavior and impropriety surfaced, and the fact that he was working with minors, so rumors overflowed and the public really wanted to know more. Next up, we have Dwayne Johnson, who exposed Vin Diesel. Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel's feud has been as turbulent as any action sequence in the Fast and Furious franchise. Since 2016, countless reports of behind-the-scenes drama between Diesel and Johnson have followed the actors well beyond the filming of 2017's The Fate of the Furious, the inception point of their long-standing contention. It was while shooting the 8th installment of the iconic franchise that the two men were rumored to have butted heads on more than one occasion. On August 8, 2016, Johnson shared a lengthy, now deleted Instagram post in which he praised his female co-stars and the crew, but called out some of his male co-stars. Quote, "There's no other franchise that gets my blood boiling more than this one," Johnson wrote. "My female co-stars are always amazing and I love them. My male co-stars, however, are a different story. Some conduct themselves as stand-up men and true professionals, while others don't. When you watch this movie next April and it seems like I'm not acting in some of these scenes and my blood is legit boiling, you are right." Now let's talk about the YouTube drama that erupted the world last year. Trisha Paytas exposing Colleen Ballinger. The 35-year-old YouTube star confirmed that her and Colleen Ballinger's Oversharing podcast was coming to an end after only 3 episodes. Trisha opened up about the decision to cancel the podcast following the allegations from former Colleen Ballinger fans that say that the Miranda Sings creator had previously sent them NSFW photos and videos of Trisha while making fun of her body. Trisha said that she reached out to Colleen about the allegations and she completely denied them. "This is all very embarrassing," Trisha said in her July 9th YouTube video. "It's very embarrassing at the end of the day. I don't get embarrassed by many things, like obviously, but the podcast ending after 3 episodes is very embarrassing." The podcast, which premiered May 23rd, released its last episode on June 6th, days after allegations of Colleen forming inappropriate relationships with her young fans. In late June, Colleen responded with a 10-minute ukulele song where she admitted previous wrongdoings but denied ever doing anything wrong seriously with her fans. Of the whole experience, Trisha reiterated, "Us doing all of this is embarrassing. It takes a lot for me to get embarrassed. When I say I've never wanted a chapter in my life to be over faster than this," Trisha continued, "even though it was a really small chapter, I mean it." Alright, now let's discuss JoJo Siwa, who exposed Candace Cameron. The Dance Moms alum kickstarted a back and forth with Candace Cameron when she posted a viral TikTok calling Candace the rudest person she'd ever met. Candace is known for Full House, as well as her starring role in Fuller House and her starring roles in Hallmark movies, until her homophobic and proud comments came to the public. But let's back up a moment to her drama with a Fuller House co-star. This co-star played a queer character on the show for 4 episodes and shared some behind-the-scenes tea on TikTok. She said, quote, "I remember I got sat down by the writers and the studio to basically warn me how this person allegedly was trying to get the character removed and not have a queer character on the show," adding that she was also, quote, "warned and prepared that the Fuller House star, Candace, her fan base might also target her." Yikes. Now, some even more tea, Candace was starring in multiple Hallmark Christmas movies until she suddenly got fired from the company. Nobody knew why, until in 2022, she began a new Christmas movie company where she states, quote, "keeps traditional marriage at the forefront, aka only straight couples." My guess is that Candace didn't like the direction that Hallmark was going and adding gay couples to some of their movies, so she voiced her opinion and eventually got let go. Next, we have Lotto, who exposed Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj and Lotto have gotten into an online feud following a dispute about their hit songs. Nicki took to social media to voice her disapproval about her single Super Freaky Girl reportedly being considered for the pop categories at the Grammys instead of the rap categories. In making her point, she said that Lotto's hit Big Energy should have been removed from any categories. Shortly after Minaj's tweet, Lotto tweeted, "Damn, I can't win for losing all these awards/nominations. I can't even celebrate." A private conversation was had between the two rappers in direct messages, which Nicki posted a screenshot of in a now deleted tweet where she called Lotto a, quote, "Karen" and a scratch off. In the screenshot, Lotto said she agreed with Nicki's argument regarding the Grammys, but said, quote, "Because of where we left off, I don't think you need to bring my name or song up to prove your point. This Karen has probably mentioned my name in over 100 interviews," Nicki tweeted. Says she waited in line for Pink Friday with her Barbie chain on, but today, Scratch Off decides to be silent. Rather than speak up for the black woman she called her biggest inspiration. Lotto responded by calling Nicki a 40-year-old bully, adding that she has been ignoring any disses from Nicki since last March. Next up, we have Noah Schnapp and Doja Cat. Doja Cat had beef with Stranger Things teen idol Noah Schnapp for revealing a private conversation in which the singer asked to be put in touch with Stranger Things Season 4 star Joseph Quinn. A screenshot of their exchange went viral after it was shared by Noah in a deleted TikTok, behavior that Doja Cat has since labeled as degrading, exploitative, and super embarrassing after not telling Doja he was going to post the conversation. And finally, let's discuss James Corden being exposed by a restaurant. Restaurateur Keith McNally claimed that the Late Late Show host had been, quote, toxic to servers while dining at his well-known Manhattan eatery Balthazar. The restaurateur shared 2 alleged instances of the host's poor behavior, first saying that James apparently threatened to write a, quote, nasty review on Yelp if he was not given a second round of free drinks. The second incident took place more recently when James apparently, quote, began yelling like crazy to the servers after his wife was displeased with the quality of her egg yolk omelet. First off, we have Jennifer Lopez. When asked to appear in a video for a charity song benefiting African AIDS program in 2001, J-Lo agreed, but only under the right conditions. In exchange for her 90 minutes of work to make the video, she wanted a trailer where everything had to be white, including the flowers, curtains, and even the candles. The star also wanted Cuban food, which she reportedly then didn't eat. What's more, the rider included requests for chocolate chip cookies and pie a la mode, but absolutely no tomato, apple, or grape juice. Odder still were the entertainment requirements, which demanded an assortment of music that included Mark Anthony and Matchbox 20. That honestly doesn't surprise me too much, since J-Lo is known for being a diva, one time even replacing a $100 tip her husband put down for the waitress, switching it with a $5 bill. Next up, we have Van Halen. Throughout the 80s, Van Halen had a provision tucked away in their rider. A rider is a set of requests or demands that a performer sets as criteria for performances, and their rider said that backstage bowls of M&Ms couldn't contain any brown ones. On its face, the request sounds really ridiculous, but as all M&Ms taste the same, regardless of color. However, this request was really a clever ploy devised by lead singer David Lee Roth, who wanted to test how committed the promoter was to details. Before the show, Roth would check the M&M's bowl, and if there weren't any brown ones, he'd know it was safe to go on stage. But seeing brown M&M's was a warning sign there may be unexpected trouble. Next up, we have Madonna. It should come as no surprise to anybody who's a fan of Madonna that she has extravagant taste when she goes on tour. According to In Touch Weekly, the pop diva wants to be surrounded by an entourage composed of 200 people. She wants 30 bodyguards to look over her for protection and personal chefs to make vegan food exclusively. If that already doesn't seem like too much, furniture is even moved from Madonna's house to her dressing room so she can feel more at home. Wow. Speaking of Madonna on tour, Madonna has recently been in the news. 2 New York City men sued the pop star for starting a show for her celebration tour roughly 2 hours later than the time listed on the tickets. In early January of this year, Michael Fellows and Jonathan Hayden accused Madonna, Live Nation, and the area venue of, quote, unconscionable, unfair, and deceptive trade practices by listing 8:30 p.m. as the start time. The pair also took issue with the show reportedly ending around 1 a.m., which allegedly posed a greater problem for them as they, quote, had to get up early to go to work and take care of their family the next day. Madonna was criticized on social media and by other celebrities following news of the lawsuit, with the ladies of The View talk show taking aim at the singer-songwriter amid the legal development. I personally wouldn't wait 2 hours to get a hot oil massage from George Clooney, much less a concert by anybody, Joy Behar said, while Sarah Haynes added that it was disrespectful to Madonna's fans. Next up, we have Katy Perry. Katy Perry knows what she wants, and it shows in her 45-page rider. Among the things listed on the rider are French lamps, a director's chair with her name on it, a total absence of carnations, and someone whose sole task is to prepare cut-up fruits and vegetables. But what stands out as the most extreme provision in the rider is that the singer reportedly doesn't want anybody who works in her staff to say a word to her before a show, especially not the chauffeurs. So, if you got into the service business on the off chance you could one day mingle with Katy Perry, don't get your hopes up. Our next diva celeb is Justin Timberlake. Pop star and actor Justin Timberlake is one of several celebrities who appear to be very conscious about health and germs, as he requires that somebody goes around and disinfects every single doorknob backstage and at any hotels that he stays in every 2 hours. In addition to this, JT is also known to request that he does not have to share the elevator with anybody when on tour or even at a party, presumably so he doesn't have to make any small talk or have an awkward silence. To top it all off, Timberlake also insists that he and his entourage get the entire floor to themselves at hotels while on tour so they can have some wild parties. Justin has been in the tabloids recently for his rude remarks about ex-Britney Spears, who he reportedly cheated on. Timberlake performed a free one-night-only concert on Wednesday, January 31st in New York City to mark his 43rd birthday. In a clip posted to social media, Timberlake took a break from singing at one point in the evening to speak directly to the crowd. "I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to absolutely effing nobody," he said into the microphone as the band played the musical accompaniment of his Jay-Z collab Holy Grail in the background. One of the most successful female artists of all time, Mariah Carey, is also known to be quite the diva, which is reflected in her long rider. She has previously required an attendant whose only job was to dispose of her gum, and she has also insisted on her dressing room being 75 degrees with a lamp or clip light and 24 white roses, as well as fully stocked crystal champagne complete with bendy straws. Her most famous request, however, is one which we can understand, but logistically must be an absolute nightmare for promoters to arrange. Before going on stage, Mariah wants her dressing room filled with puppies, rabbits, bunnies, and any other soft animal, which she states helps to calm her nerves. In recent years though, Carey has reportedly put her diva days behind her and has a much more modest rider. Beyonce demands her dressing room be kept at 78 degrees and asks for chicken legs, quote, heavily seasoned with cayenne pepper and rose-scented candles, and don't have Coca-Cola products anywhere near Beyonce as she only drinks Pepsi. Here are some of the demands. 1 large table for catering dressed with white tablecloths. 4 brand new white towels in the bathroom, 2 for the face and 2 for the body. Hot food includes juicy baked chicken, legs, wings, and breasts. Please season with fresh garlic, seasoning salt, black pepper, and cayenne pepper. Steamed garlic broccoli, lightly seasoned green beans, lightly seasoned steamed spinach. 1 case of Aquafina water, half cold, half room temperature. 1 hot tea, sliced lemon wedges, rose-scented candles, a lighter for candles, and a CD player. Our next diva superstar is Rihanna. The singer insists on blue or black drapes layered with, quote, icy blue chiffon. Rihanna also needs an animal print throw rug and has a very specific candle request. Here are some of the demands on the rider. 5 AC power outlets, adequate lighting for a, quote, relaxed atmosphere, white drapes to cover lockers and or brick. 1 humidifier, 1 large throw rug, plush and animal print, cheetah or leopard. It must be clean as she will walk on it barefoot. 6 candles, 4 small clear square vases with white tulips, no foliage. Second choice, if you can't get the tulips, white Casablanca lilies. Third choice, if you can't get those, white freesia. When Britney Spears performed in London's the O2 Arena in 2011, she demanded a feast of McDonald's bunless cheeseburgers along with 100 figs and prunes, so she could feel like she was getting the full London experience. She also ordered fish and chips with a framed photo of Princess Diana on the side. Yes, she reportedly ordered a framed photo of Princess Diana to be displayed in her dressing room at the venue. The UK publication The Daily Mirror reports, quote, Britney adores the monarchy. Diana Diana was in many ways her inspiration. Perhaps it's because Britney can relate to the superstar loneliness paradox, that feeling of being famous, but also trapped. Britney Spears has even admitted that fame made her feel like she was, quote, living on the edge of a cliff. In the first preview of her memoir, The Woman in Me, the pop star opened up about her early years in the spotlight. I envy people who know how to make fame work. Britney was always saying she just, quote, wanted to be normal, but her level of fame at the time precluded her from any semblance of normality. She felt, in effect, trapped, says her former makeup artist. Our final celebrity is the #1 celeb of the year, Taylor Swift. First, make sure if she's arriving before 11 a.m., you've made a pit stop to Starbucks. Here are some of the demands she requires. If arriving before 11 a.m., the following from Starbucks: 1 grande iced caramel latte with 2 sweeteners, also 1 grande iced Americano with 2 sweeteners, soy milk, and 1 slice of pumpkin loaf, 1 stick of butter, 3 boxes of Kraft mac and cheese, 2 4-packs of Red Bull, 1 12-pack of Corona, 1 12-pack of Newcastle beer, 1 bottle of Welch's grape juice, 1 avocado, 1 bag of Twizzlers licorice, 1 case of Smart Water, 1 pint of Ben & Jerry's chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, 1 pint of Ben & Jerry's chocolate brownie frozen yogurt. Another thing the pop star demanded was that regular tickets for the Eras Tour concert film be priced at $19.89, a cheeky reference to her re-recorded album 1989, Taylor's version. That sounds all too well and good until it's noticed that AMC typically charges an average of $14.89 for an adult ticket, meaning Taylor Swift is demanding her fans pay more than 30% markup price to see her movie, basically to honor an album that they'll likely be buying for the second time. First off, let's talk about the Nicki Minaj drama. Nicki Minaj released a new song called Bigfoot on Monday, and although the rapper has denied it is a diss track, it has been widely perceived as an attack against fellow rapper Megan Thee Stallion, whom Minaj has spent days taking shots at in a barrage of social media posts after she apparently interpreted Megan's new song Hiss to be a diss at her. Now let's dive into those crazy tweets Nicki Minaj made about Megan, and these are shocking. January 29th, she tweeted about Megan saying, quote, spending so much money, but she's the little broke independent artist. The world knows that she cannot rap. Stop effing trying to make fetch happen. Hashtag Bigfoot. I just put out a song with no promo, no video, it's already #2. In another tweet, she says, they are doing so much fraudulent stuff for Bigfoot, she can't do it without a machine behind her. Her mom used to write her raps, her mom was a stand-up real woman, nothing like lion lipo. Nicki is known to comment on Megan Thee Stallion's body, saying she has got a BBL surgery and liposuction. Another celebrity who is not the biggest fan of Megan is Rihanna. Rihanna famously unfollowed Megan on Instagram in 2022, and people weren't quite sure why. In October 2020, Megan Thee Stallion became a Savage X Fenty brand ambassador, having joined the likes of Paris Hilton, Normani, Bella Hadid, and many other celebrities. However, in March 2022, news that Rihanna had unfollowed Megan Thee Stallion blew up on social media days after discovering that the rapstress is no longer a brand ambassador for Savage X Fenty, Rihanna's brand. It was initially revealed when fans noticed Megan's whole collection was deleted off the Savage X Fenty website, and her name was nowhere to be found. Throughout 2020 and 2021, the Savage rapstress promoted Rihanna's Savage X Fenty in a string of photo shoots for the line. However, many fans have also pointed out that the photos have been deleted off of Megan's Instagram, as well as the site. While Megan nor Rihanna have publicly commented on their dispute or why they've unfollowed each other on social media, some fans came up with more theories. It is rumored that Rihanna unfollowed Megan over accusations that A$AP Rocky cheated on the work singer with Megan at some point during their relationship. According to Black Tea Blog, the 34-year-old songstress has felt uncomfortable around Megan for a long time due to Rocky's and Megan's alleged connection. Our next celebrity is Drake. Drake has also unfollowed Megan Thee Stallion on Instagram after the reports of Rihanna's Savage X Fenty deal with the rapper came to an end surfaced on the internet. Talking to Twitter, tons of posts flooded the platform with their anticipation around some drama to surface among the celebs. Rihanna, Nicki, Kylie, Drake unfollowed Megan, Fortnite removed her song from the game, and Rihanna removed her from the site. Megan Thee Stallion is literally over. Like, I'm not even even joking, one user pointed out. Another user wrote, quote, Rihanna has removed her Savage X Fenty collab with Megan from her site and unfollowed her. Drake also unfollowed Megan. Many believe Drake unfollowed her after the whole Tory Lanez situation that occurred when Tory was in an altercation with Megan one night after a party at Kylie Jenner's Hollywood home, which ended in Tory shooting Megan in the foot. Our next celebrity who apparently hates Megan Thee Stallion is Doja Cat. Fans have noticed their beef over the years, interpreting lyrics in both artists' songs that seem to throw shade at one another. Doja Cat's song Demons include lyrics like, quote, I'm the fastest growing B on all your apps now. You are tired of me cause I'm on your A now. People began to speculate that she was explicitly targeting other rappers like Nicki, Cardi B, and Megan Thee Stallion, and similar artists. In a series of since deleted Instagram stories, the Attention singer debunked all of the rumors and revealed the real target, her fake fans. People don't want to accept that I'm dissing them, so they try to pin it on Cardi, Nicki, and Meg, and every other female rapper, Doja wrote. I don't diss rappers, I diss critics. Stay bored, stay reaching. Our next celebrity is, of course, Tory Lanez. Canadian rapper Tory Lanez is currently serving a 10-year sentence in California for his Megan Thee Stallion shooting incident. But where did all that beef begin? And why was he so angry at her? Prosecutors said that in July 2020, in the early morning hours after a party in Los Angeles, Mr. Lanez lashed out at Megan Thee Stallion after she had criticized his rap abilities. Wow. Our next celebrity is Kenneth Petty, also known as Nicki Minaj's husband. First though, let's talk about Nicki's new diss track, Bigfoot. Nicki makes some serious cuts at Megan's family and even ends the song by repeating, quote, lying on your dead mama. If you don't know, Megan's mom passed away in 2019 from brain cancer and was a very prominent figure in her life. So this Nicki diss was meant to cut Megan deep and attack her family. As for why she said it, Nicki seemed to answer that question to some extent, protecting her husband Kenneth. Nicki also reminded Megan Thee Stallion fans that her family is also constantly a focal point of criticism and she's clearly getting sick of it. This round of beef popped off when Megan seemed to reference Kenneth Petty in her new song Hiss, making a reference that many interpreted as shade towards his legal troubles. So it's assumed Kenneth is not having it with Megan and probably won't be listening to WAP anytime soon. Another celebrity who hates Megan is Joe Budden. Apparently, the media personality and podcast host thinks that a particular Meg line about the people dancing and making R. Kelly go viral is about him. Megan Thee Stallion just lit the rap world on fire with her new single Hiss that we talked about, although a lot of that conversation owes itself to her beef with Nicki Minaj. It wasn't the only diss that her new single seemed to include. Joe Budden theorized on his podcast that she sent shots at his cohorts. Quote, like, I'ma give Meg a little more cause she dissed us on that song, Joe Budden expressed. Listen, I've been scraping my head all morning trying to figure out who'd been dancing to R. Kelly recently, and then it hit me. That was us. Everybody was trying to figure it out. The podcast co-host explained, alright, don't quote me, but I think that she's dissing us, Joe Budden ended with. Jeffree Star is another Megan hater. Jeffree Star is another Megan Thee Stallion hater we can assume from his TikTok live comments about the Nicki Minaj drama. In the TikTok live, he says, shout out my girl Nicki, I've known her since 2009, that amazing goddess. So you're asking, whose side am I on? There is no side. It's Nicki Minaj and it's Pink Sunday. Australian actor Ruby Rose also has reason to be mad at Megan when she received thousands of online threats after fans confused her with another rapper named Ruby Rose. Rapper Ruby Rose was one of the stars who had very strong feelings about the Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj situation, which were revealed after her close friend's Instagram story was leaked. Minaj's barbs actually got Ruby confused with Australian actor Ruby Rose, who starred in Orange is the New Black and Batwoman. They went on to attack, and Ruby had to release a statement. After being harassed and threatened by Nicki's followers, Ruby took to Instagram and wrote, I have a Y in my name, not an I. I never thought I'd see the day when I was being flooded with threats for involvement in a rap beef. I do not post about rappers on my close friends story. She added, I assure you my close friends list is never used for anything but more dog photos. I don't know much about the inner workings of the rap world, period. You have the wrong Ruby. Another person who has beef with Megan Thee Stallion is Richard Kanka, the father of the slain child behind the federal law that Megan references in her new song, Megan's Law. Richard, the father of Year-old Megan Kanka, the girl that Megan's Law is named after, spoke to TMZ about Hiss on Monday, January 29th. Richard said that the rapper, 28, referencing Megan's Law to attack Nicki Minaj, 41 years old, is, quote, as disrespectful as it gets because it's dragging his late daughter's name into the expletive-riddled song. Richard acknowledged that Megan Thee Stallion's line raised awareness about Megan's Law, but that doesn't change his feelings because the use of his daughter's name in such a graphic/offensive manner was, quote, highly offensive to the pain that his daughter and his family felt. Richard also noted that he hasn't heard Hiss yet, but has read the lyrics. According to TMZ, Richard is, quote, considering looking into his legal options to see if Megan's track went too far. And our final celebrity who cannot stand Megan is DaBaby. In his song Boogeyman, DaBaby takes shots at Megan's best friend and reveals without Megan's permission that the two have slept together. With graphic lyrics, it is hard to imagine DaBaby wanted this to come across in a friendly manner. Megan didn't seem too mad at it though, as she seemed to speak about the topic at one of her live shows, saying, quote, look, I don't know about y'all, but I love my body. I do what I want with my body, when I want with my body, with who I want with my body. First up, we have Matt Damon. Now, I didn't know this story, but it is crazy. In an extremely odd tangent during an interview to promote his movie Stillwater, Matt Damon talked about using a homophobic word at dinner with his family. His daughter rightly intervened, leaving the table to write an essay to him about why using that particular word was wrong. Nobody was quite sure why in the year 2021 the Hollywood actor would still need that explained to him, but here we are. Our next celebrity is Ezra Miller. DC Studios saw Ezra Miller, aka comic book history's most problematic The Flash, plead guilty to one-count misdemeanor unlawful trespass in a Vermont court. In exchange, the prosecution dropped felony burglary and larceny charges. The actor attributed their ongoing legal struggles as well as other terrible allegations to, quote, complex mental health issues. DC Studios has stood by them thus far and left the fate of the beloved character in purgatory for now. In April 2020, a video surfaced online of Ezra appearing to choke somebody at a bar in Iceland. A source later confirmed to Variety that the incident was, quote, a serious altercation at a bar, and that Miller was escorted off the premises as a result. 2 years after the incident, the woman from the clip shared her side of the story with Variety, saying that her banter with the actor about getting into a fight was meant as a joke, but her friend appeared to antagonize the situation when he told Ezra that he heard the actor did not want to fight. My friend didn't have to say that, she told the outlet. It was just a joke, obviously. But Ezra took that literally and got super mad and came running outside. Our next celebrity is Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was written off of 2.5 Men following 8 years of playing Charlie Harper on the CBS sitcom. 2 months after Sheen was admitted to a rehab facility, the actor was fired due to his self-destructive behavior and offensive comments towards the show's producers. Here's how the network handled it. Ashton Kutcher was brought on as Walden Schmidt, who became the new comedic foil for Alan Harper. Sheen's character was revealed to have been hit by a subway train. The series finale, however, puts a new spin on Charlie Harper's absence from the show. The last episode depicts Charlie Sheen as a cartoon character who was kidnapped by his admirer, Rose. The scene takes a jab at Sheen's issues, turning his nose as a vacuum, inhaling a large pile of sugar. Interesting choice. Next up, we have Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, who is set to play oil tycoon J. Paul Getty in Ridley Scott's 70s set thriller All the Money in the World, was let go from the film. In October, 2 months before All the Money in the World was scheduled to premiere, actor Anthony Rapp went public with accusations that Spacey had done some pretty bad stuff to him when Anthony was 14 years old. More than a dozen other men came forward with similar accusations against Spacey shortly afterwards. Spacey, who seemingly attempted to shield himself from criticism by coming out as gay, faced 3 separate legal cases from the accusations. All of these ended in Spacey's favor, were dismissed, or were dropped. How the studios handled it. To the extent that cancellation is a real thing, Spacey got thoroughly cancelled. He was fired from House of Cards, which proceeded with a 6th and final season without him, and he was fired from a biopic he was tapped to star in. For all the money in the world, Ridley Scott reshot Spacey's scenes as Getty a month before its release, now with the much more age-appropriate Christopher Plummer in the role. Remarkably, the scenes only took 8 days to reshoot, and the film managed to hit its intended release date. Crazy. Our next cancelled actor is TJ Miller, and this one is so disappointing. I just watched TJ in 2016's Office Christmas Party movie. He's hilarious, but I guess he's not the best person in real life. TJ Miller, best known for starring in Silicon Valley in late 2017, also starring in the Emoji Movie. Miller was the subject of numerous public controversies, including accusations of transphobia by film critic Danielle Solzman. In April 2018, he got arrested after calling in a fake bomb threat while drunk on an Amtrak train. That's crazy. And later that year, he was accused of bullying behavior on the set of Silicon Valley by recurring actor Alice Wetterlund. How the studios handled it? Well, Miller left Silicon Valley in May before the accusations against him became public, but the actor had already filmed scenes for the blockbuster movie Deadpool 2 and recorded voice lines for the third How to Train Your Dragon movie. Deadpool 2 went ahead, but star Ryan Reynolds made it clear that TJ Miller would not return for future sequels. DreamWorks Animation, meanwhile, had Miller's role in The Hidden World overdubbed by another actor, Justin Rupel. Next up, we have Constance Wu. From movies like Crazy Rich Asians and Hustlers, Constance set her sights on becoming a prominent A-lister. But in 2019, things took a turn. Quote, "So upset right now that I'm literally crying. Twitter was blowing up. Effing hell." These two were tweets from the actor Constance Wu after her ABC sitcom Fresh Off the Boat was renewed for a 6th season, and she did not seem happy about it. When one person told her, "Congrats on your renewal, great news," she tweeted back, "No, it's not." Constance even went as far to comment on the show's official Instagram account and wrote "dislike" on the post announcing the show's renewal. This was followed by intense backlash from fans and online commentators. People called her ungrateful for dismissing an opportunity that so many struggling actors would die for. They said her public dissatisfaction was a slap in the face to the cast and crew who worked on the show. They called her a diva. Jimmy Kimmel joked about her and this incident on his own show. Perez Hilton reported she was, quote, "the most hated person on the set of Fresh Off the Boat," and journalist Yashir Ali even wrote in a since deleted tweet, quote, "Constance Wu's conduct today comes as no surprise to anybody who has worked with her in recent years. She has a reputation for being rude, petty, mean-spirited, and ungrateful." Actor Gemma Chan, who co-starred with Wu in Crazy Rich Asians, liked his tweet. She later clarified that she accidentally liked the tweet and said, "Anybody looking for drama? Sorry to disappoint." The tweet by Ali continues saying, "I remember going to a gala later that same month hosted by a major Asian American nonprofit with a predominantly Asian American audience, and one famous Asian American comedian on stage made a joke about Constance Wu's outbursts. Everybody in the room laughed. An insider on the set of Hustlers said she was a, quote, big diva and demanded her name be on the top of the call sheet. The movie Hustlers also saw another diva on set, Miss Jennifer Lopez. Last year, a viral TikTok trend where people told their J-Lo horror stories went viral, and some of the stories are actually crazy. One user said, "I served at a restaurant where J-Lo and Ben Affleck were eating. At the end of the meal, Ben put a $100 bill down as a tip for the waitress. As Jennifer was just about to leave, she grabbed the $100 bill and replaced it with $5. Another woman took to TikTok to claim that the Jenny from the Block singer is also rude to her drivers. The TikToker claimed her father once worked for a company that Lopez often hired to provide drivers and said that her dad would refuse to drive J-Lo after hearing stories about her poor temperament. She alleged that J-Lo does not allow the drivers to look at her or talk to her, and that even if the driver looks through a rear view mirror, they could be subjected to a scolding from the diva celebrity. Lastly, she also allegedly has a peculiar rule. They cannot let her luggage touch the ground. Next up, we have Blake Lively. Users on Reddit shared their Blake Lively horror stories, and here is what one user said, quote, "My boyfriend works in the movie studios and concerts where we live and has done small to major movies and met some pretty big movie stars because of it. The worst person he's ever had to deal with was Blake Lively. He said she was the most entitled, snobbiest, and rudest person to ever deal with. She threw tantrums on set and she treated literally every single person like a piece of crap except for the director." The cast of Jersey Shore also had some things to say about Blake Lively. While the cast was taking part in a segment called Revenge of the Shady Duck Phone on Andy Cohen's talk show, they were asked, "Who's the rudest celebrity you've ever interacted with?" While the cast didn't name names at first, Snooki blurted out Joy Behar, while Sammy and Dina said Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were really rude to them, though they all had the highest praise for Queen Bee herself, Beyonce. Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, he is also known in Hollywood for being super nice to high-profile celebs, but not really anyone else lower on the totem pole, except for A-list star Salma Hayek. Hayek and Reynolds made an appearance on BBC Radio 1 to talk about their experience working together on the film Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. During the course of the conversation, the Mexican actor, who's known to have a strong Hispanic accent, revealed how Reynolds gave her a very hard time in one scene in which her character was trying to put on a British accent. Quote, "Reynolds traumatized me. He thought I was terrible with my British accent. I didn't think so. I thought I was a natural Brit, and I said to him, 'Ryan, does it sound good?' He said, 'Just give it up. It's 3 in the morning, I cannot help you with that. Do I look like a miracle worker?'" A user on Reddit also gave their thoughts on Ryan Reynolds, saying, quote, "He was a well-known a-hole on set and to people in general, which is why his career was fizzling out for a while. Hugh Jackman saved him. Apparently, he told him that he can't keep going like this or nobody will work with him anymore. He cleaned up his act, but somehow I can't help but feel that the a-hole is still there, under the whole persona he has going in public." First off, Miss Britney Spears. On February 16th, 2007, the Gimme More singer infamously shaved her head. Days later, she shocked the world by furiously attacking a paparazzo's car with an umbrella. The following July, the pop star offered up a bizarre explanation for her violent behavior. "I was preparing my character for a role in a movie where the husband never plays his part, so they switch places accidentally," she wrote on her website. "I take all my roles very seriously and got a little carried away. Unfortunately, I didn't get the part." But in her 2023 memoir, her opinion on the incident changed. She says, "I'd been eyeballed so much growing up, I'd been looked up and down, I had people telling me what they thought of my body since I was a teenager. Shaving my head and acting out were ways of pushing back," Spears adds in the book. After Britney was put in a court-ordered conservatorship in 2008, granting her father and a lawyer control over all her financial and personal affairs, she says she was forbidden from keeping the new shaved look. "Under the conservatorship, I was made to understand that those days were now over," she writes. "I had to grow my hair out and get back into shape. I had to go to bed early and take whatever medication they told me to take." Our next celebrity meltdown involves Nothing Compares to You singer Sinead O'Connor. Sinead was performing on SNL when a brief moment destroyed her entire career. On October 3rd, 1992, O'Connor appeared on SNL to promote her new album, Am I Not Your Girl? For the second song of the evening, O'Connor had chosen to perform an a cappella version of Bob Marley's song War. Throughout the performance, she stared intently into the camera, and as she sang the final line, "We have confidence in the victory of good over evil," O'Connor held a photograph of the Pope directly in front of the camera, ripped it up, saying, "Fight the real enemy," before throwing the pieces to the floor. The SNL producers were not aware of O'Connor's plan. During the dress rehearsal, she had held up a picture of a child. Everybody at SNL apparently froze after the live performance, unsure how to react, and that the music producer Liz Welch went from jubilation to tears. The executive producer Lorne Michaels said the air went out of the studio and that he ordered that the applause sign should not be used. The audience remained silent and O'Connor returned to her dressing room where somebody found her talking to herself, quote, doing something between poetry and chanting. Our next celebrity meltdown involves Nicki Minaj and Mariah Carey. On an episode of American Idol, the former show judges got into a curse word-filled fight. Minaj criticized Carey for being too harsh on a contestant, which which the Vision of Love singer responded by saying, "I'm sorry, it's just that that's what I do, Nicki." The Anaconda rapper immediately fired back. "Oh, you're right. I'm sorry I can't help her," she said, tossing her seat behind her. "Maybe I should just get off the effing panel. Let me get off the panel." After leaving the room, Nicki was overheard shouting, "Shut the F up! Finish the show, I'm done." But that's not the only on-air meltdown Nicki Minaj has had. When accepting her VMA award for Best Music Video, Nicki made a dig at fellow performer Miley Cyrus. While thanking her pastor and other fans, Nicki said, "Back to this B-word who had a lot to say about me the other day in the press. Miley, what's good?" Speaking of on-air meltdowns, Hugh Grant had some rude things to say to Ellen while on her talk show. After she complimented her guest, calling him fantastic, smart, and all those things, Grant responded back by saying, "I wish I thought that about you." He also had some rude things to say about Julia Roberts while on the Oprah show. "Very big mouth. Literally, physically, she has a very big mouth. When I was kissing her, I was aware of a faint echo." Again, they would try to get Grant back on track during the interview, mentioning that Julia Roberts was a really good person, in which Grant responded by saying, "I wouldn't go that far." Hugh Grant would go on to admit that this current relationship with Roberts is not on the best of terms because of past comments. "I've probably made too many jokes about the size of her mouth. She might hate me by now." Michael Jackson seemed to have a meltdown after his infamous baby dangling incident. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here is the story. In 2002, Michael Jackson visited Berlin to accept an award for his philanthropic work on behalf of children, a Lifetime Bambi Entertainment Award. During his stay, the pop star dangled his 9-month-old son, nicknamed Blanket because his face was covered with a towel, over the balcony of the hotel he was staying in. It seemed that what the king of pop was trying to do was show his baby to the fans that had gathered outside his hotel, but the public's response was obviously completely opposite from what Jackson had expected. As soon as photos and videos of the incident were released to the public, the media started criticizing Michael's parenting skills and reckless behavior. Ringo Starr, a former member of the Beatles, got in a serious altercation with interviewer Sherry Hewson. During a live event, she said, "He just sat down, said, 'Okay then girls, what are we doing here? Shall we just get Paul McCartney out of the way?'" This was live, by the way. Anyway, he carries on. "Let's get Paul McCartney out the way." "You want me to talk about Paul McCartney?" I said. "Well, no, you're here." And he said, "No, you don't. You want to talk about Paul McCartney." She continued, "He was so angry. It was just so weird. I thought, why? Why? It was just a really weird thing." And then he said to the audience, "Can I tell you all, if anyone wants an autograph, cannot have one, because I don't do things like that." At the end of it, one of the producers came up with one of her little children who was only 4 years old and said that she knew he didn't do autographs, but told him that her daughter was only 4 and she really loves the Beatles. He just stared and said, "Really?" And then he said, "Did you not hear what I just said? I don't sign autographs." Yikes. David Letterman, former host of the David Letterman Show, has made some really weird on-screen moments while interviewing celebrities, and some of these stories are really hard to believe. When he was interviewing Madonna, he stopped the interview and asked her, "Why don't you go and kiss the guy in the audience?" Shocked, she said, "Why are you so obsessed with my love life?" He responded by saying, "Go kiss the guy in the audience. It would knock him out." She responded, "I can't. I've never succumbed to peer pressure." Interviewing Jennifer Lopez, he made the cameraman zoom into a close-up of her chest while saying, "That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good." Ew. David Letterman seems quite rude, but perhaps the rudest interview story has to go to Jesse Eisenberg. While promoting his new movie Now You See Me, the actor seemed to have a meltdown while in an interview, being extremely rude to the interviewer. Out of nowhere, Jesse brought up the often maligned comedian Carrot Top. Before long, it became clear that Eisenberg only brought up Carrot Top so he could mock the interviewer, whose name is Puga, her abilities as an interviewer. "Do you know the comedian Carrot Top? Well, you're like the Carrot Top of interviewers." "Yeah, it's a good thing. Don't cry now. Cry after the interview is over, because otherwise I'll look like I'm responsible for it." Yikes. After this back and forth conversation, Eisenberg half-heartedly performed a magic trick. Puga then asked Eisenberg if he could say her name to the camera. In response, Eisenberg asked Puga to explain what his motivation for saying her name was, like he was performing an acting exercise. When Puga asked Eisenberg to say her name like he was trying to find her in a crowded place, he quietly said her name. Puga then remarked that she would never be able to hear him in a club, and his explanation for why he was being quiet seemed very harsh. He said, "The thing is, I actually didn't want to find you. I actually was hoping to stay alone." After the interview was done, the interviewer said she went behind the curtain and cried. Shia LaBeouf, former Disney star known for his troubled past, turned heads when he wore a paper bag saying, "I am not famous anymore," to a red carpet premiere for his new movie. Just hours before the premiere, LaBeouf found himself sat with a panel in front of a room full of journalists as well as his co-stars. When asked about his decision to star in a movie with so many love scenes, he bent low over the microphone and replied, "When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much." He then got up, pushed the mic away, and stormed out of the conference, leaving the audience and his fellow panelists mystified. What does that even mean? Our final celebrity meltdown involves Miss Ariana Grande. In 2015, Ariana went with friends to a donut shop to grab a sweet treat. Everything was looking good until the employee at the donut shop supposedly turned around behind the counter, and while he wasn't looking, Ariana licked some of the donuts still for sale while saying, "I hate America," and later calling the donuts disgusting. The security footage of the incident went mega viral online, and Ariana quickly went to Twitter to apologize, saying, "Seeing a video of yourself behaving poorly that you have no idea was taken is such a rude awakening that you don't know what to do. I was so disgusted with myself." She said, "I'm not here to make any excuses or to justify my behavior because I can't. I'm just here to apologize." Jim Carrey, one of the biggest and highest paid actors of our time, has shared his thoughts on Hollywood since retiring from the spotlight. After the Chris Rock Will Smith Oscars slap incident, Carrey shared his opinions on the standing ovation Will Smith received when winning an Oscar later that night. Hollywood is just spineless, and it really felt like it was a clear indication that we aren't the cool club anymore. Carrey went on to say that Smith should have been escorted from the Dolby Theater after slapping Rock for making an insensitive joke about his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. In March 2022, Carrey announced to Access Hollywood that he was probably retiring from acting. "Well, I'm retiring. Yeah, probably. I'm being fairly serious," he shared. "It depends. If the angels bring some sort of script that's written in gold ink that says to me that it's going to be really important for people to see, I might continue down the road, but I'm taking a break." Carrey added, "I feel like, and this is something you might never hear another celebrity say as long as time exists, I have enough. I've done enough. I am enough." Our second celebrity is Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato starred in many Disney Channel movies and shows like Camp Rock, Princess Protection Program, and Sunny with a Chance. But on a podcast, Lovato shares she, as well as many of her co-stars, were subjected to harsh treatment and multiple strict rules and regulations while working for the company. She said, "You can't be seen at a party with a red cup in your hand because it looks like you're drinking." There was this website called Ocean Up that would take all scandalous things that were happening to Disney actors and put it on there, so we lived in fear of that website. I didn't have food in my hotel room. They wouldn't let me eat the snacks in the mini bar. Then my security walked by my room and was made aware that they had barricaded me into my hotel room. They put furniture outside my door so that I couldn't get out and sneak out and eat if I wanted to. It was that level of controlling when it came to my food, which just made my eating troubles worse. She also stated that she felt that she was practically taking care of her own family. At a certain point, I was paying for the roof over my whole family's head, and my dad had quit his job to become my manager, so his income was coming right from me. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and there was just that pressure of I'm paying for everything and like I need to keep going because if things start to disappear, so does the finances. Our next celeb on the list is Isla Fisher. The actress nearly drowned while filming a scene in Now You See Me. Fisher discussed what went wrong with the stunt, and it is horrifying. I was in a a tank of water. My character is submerged in a tank and piranhas are dropped on her head, she says. And whilst we were there, we shot it over 3.5 days. Even though I had a quick release magnetic thing on my handcuffs, the chain that went between my ankles and my wrists was not able to be broken, and it got stuck underneath the slat and I was trapped. The actor also discussed the kill switch in the tank. There was a quick release switch that could have emptied the tank of water in 70 seconds. However, as a result of being tangled, Fisher was unable to reach for the switch. I was very scared and I was banging and saying, "Set me free!" But everybody just thought I was doing fabulous acting. They thought I was being Meryl Streep in that tank. Actually, I was drowning. I guess Hollywood really wanted that good take. Our next celebrity is model Miranda V. The modeling world seems harmless, but darkness looms. Miranda accused Gigi and Bella Hadid's father of inappropriate physical behavior in a lengthy Instagram post in February 2018. Thank you, Kate Upton. It is time people like Paul Marciano and Mohammed Hadid get exposed for who they really are. I met with Paul at his guest headquarters. That's actually an apartment. I thought it was a professional meeting, but it was just me, him, and champagne, where he inappropriately touched me in an apartment. All to get a test shoot for guests. Former Disney Child star Allison Stoner exposes Hollywood with her new podcast, and some of the claims are alarming. Allison said, "I lost the ability to relate to non-famous experiences after the age of 8. Imagine on your 8th birthday you could never walk outside again without being stopped, asked for photos, or followed, unless you wore a disguise or brought security with you." Allison also mentioned the horror when they had to kiss both Dylan Sprouse and Cole Sprouse for an episode of The Sweet Life. The experience left them with conflicted feelings. Your character may have some arc or transformation that isn't evident upon reading the script of the first episode, Stoner explained. So writers and executives might decide to make your character do anything on the next episode, and it's assumed that you're gonna agree to whatever is scripted. My first kiss, and several of the times I experienced kissing, all happened on camera. On camera. Was I ready for that? No, I felt young and uncomfortable, Stoner said, but they were already under contract and didn't want to appear difficult. Another celeb that has exposed Hollywood is Selena Gomez. The superstar, who boasts 430 million followers on Instagram, often speaks about the downside of being famous, telling Interview magazine in 2020 that everything she does causes a reaction, saying, "The sad part is, I don't remember a time when that wasn't the case. What has kept me afloat is that I know eventually it'll be somebody else, and I don't mean that in a negative way," she said, adding that fame has still allowed her to talk about things that are important to her. "A huge part of why I have a platform is to help people. That's why I think I'm okay with the magnitude. I mean, I'm not really okay with it, but I'm gonna say that I am because it's worth it." Perhaps the celebrity with the most famous Hollywood horror story is Miss Britney Spears. In 2008, Jamie Spears, her dad, was granted the conservatorship after Britney reportedly struggled with mental health issues and was hospitalized. After Britney was released, a Los Angeles court made the conservatorship permanent, giving her father power over all her finances and her medical decisions. Although Britney was an adult at the time, she was treated like a prisoner and says she was not allowed to leave her house unless granted permission. Her father was making more money than her because he was taking a huge percentage of her earnings and not telling her. Wow, what a father he is. The greed of Hollywood doesn't stop there though. Scientology, a popular organization in Hollywood, has been known to take insane amounts of money from its members, claiming the payments will get them into a higher level in the afterlife. Actress Leah Remini, a former Scientologist, exposes the organization for the way they ruined her life after she left. The actress, who was brought into the church as an 8-year-old after her mother converted to the religion, slammed the organization for its alleged scare tactics and seemingly helping certain members avoid jail for various horrible crimes. Leah met famous Scientologist/actor Tom Cruise while still in the organization, but had to pay $1 million to do so. which she paid. After leaving, Leah sued the organization for alleged stalking and hacking. She states she reportedly had cars chasing her and following her every single day and had hackers hack into her bank account and steal thousands of dollars, all because she left the organization. Yikes. Not all Hollywood drama comes from Hollywood though. And this was the case for Kim Kardashian in Paris. In October 2016, while on a work trip to Paris, Kardashian was robbed at 3 a.m. while alone in her hotel. She was tied up and blindfolded while men in masks raided the hotel room for money. In the end, $10 million worth of jewelry was stolen, as well as 2 cell phones. Kim's sisters and bodyguards were at the club while everything took place, and Kim decided to stay home because she was tired. Boy, was that a life-changing mistake. Kim recalled the fear that she felt during a conversation with the concierge, who was also held hostage in that moment. She says to the concierge, "I'm like, what is happening? Are we gonna die? Just tell them I have children. I have babies. I have a husband. I have a family. Like, I have to get home. Tell them, take anything you want." 2 French judges later charged 12 people in relation to that robbery. Kardashian, who shares 4 kids with ex-Kanye West, has said that she almost lost herself in the year following the crime. Explaining on the Alec Baldwin show in 2018, "I was never depressed, but I wasn't motivated to get up and work like I used to. It shook me." However, the reality star also shared that she has learned to feel grateful for the experience in a way. "There was a lot of me that measured who I was by how much I had. I thought, oh, I'm worth so much," she noted. "That needed to change in me." Our final celebrity of the day is Miley Cyrus. Although Hannah Montana was a family-friendly show, starring in it gave Miley an identity crisis, she says. "I had gone from being a character almost as often as I was myself." And actually, the concept of the show is that when you're this character, when you have this alter ego, you're valuable. You've got millions of fans, you're the biggest star in the world, and then the concept was that when I looked like myself, when I didn't have the wig on anymore, nobody cared about me. I wasn't a star anymore. So that was drilled into my head, Cyrus explained. "I really had to break that, and I think that's maybe why I almost created a characterized version of myself at times, in the way of being aware of how other people see me. I never created a character where it wasn't me, but I was aware of how people saw me, and I maybe played into it a little bit," Cyrus continued. Speaking of her persona after, Cyrus has also talked about how the costumes and makeup took their toll on her, likely causing some body dysmorphia. "I'm this fragile little girl playing a 16-year-old in a wig and a ton of makeup. It was like toddlers and tiaras." She said that being made to look like somebody she wasn't and made pretty for so many years meant that when it ended, she didn't know who she was. First on the list, we have comedian Amy Schumer. Perhaps the most hated comedian in the entire world, Amy Schumer has gone through her fair share of hate, including multiple viral YouTube videos with titles such as "Watching Amy Schumer Until I Laugh," where the video lasts almost an hour. Reasons behind the hating of Amy Schumer include allegations of her stealing jokes, and the proof is pretty insane. One user on Reddit pitched their opinion on the comedian, saying, "I really liked her on Inside Amy Schumer, her show, so I went and got tickets to one of her comedy shows. She was an hour late to the show. After some time, the crowd got restless, so they sent some poor intern or something to fill in the time to tell some jokes. Everybody booed him. When Amy did the show, she showed up drunk, did about 40 minutes of terrible jokes, which just basically involved insulting the audience, and it was over. It was the worst show I've ever been to. Hated her ever since." Yikes. Alrighty, next on the list is Ellen DeGeneres. In 2020, Ellen got viciously cancelled and has never recovered from it. But even before that, Ellen was disliked by many viewers by being too upfront with celebrities in her interviews. These incidents include Ellen forcing Mariah Carey to reveal that she is pregnant by forcing champagne on her on live television. Mariah has had trouble with pregnancy in the past and was not ready to reveal that she was pregnant, but was forced into it. This pregnancy also ended in another miscarriage. Another incident includes Ellen shaming Dakota Johnson for not inviting her to her birthday party, and then Dakota revealing that Ellen was invited and she stood her up. These are horrible, but in 2020, even more drama came forward. It was revealed that senior producers at The Ellen Show fostered a very toxic workplace full of racism, intimidation, and fear going back years. It was reported that lower-level employees were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen and were never allowed to speak to her directly. Wow. Other employees claimed they were fired after taking medical leave or days to attend family funerals. Transgender YouTuber Nikki Tutorials stated she wasn't allowed to use the restrooms backstage at The Ellen Show and had to use a special accessible washroom far away. Next on the list is another famous talk show host you guys might know, James Corden. Some of the allegations against James include him reportedly screaming at staff at the Balthazar restaurant in New York because his wife received an egg yolk omelet with egg whites in it. He was banned from the restaurant, and the owner claims he is the most abusive customer ever. In 2010, a moment of genuine drama unfolded at the Glamour Awards ceremony as James clashed with X-Men star Patrick Stewart on stage. This is drama. As he walked up on stage, Patrick Stewart told Corden to get his hands out of his pockets and accused him of looking around as if he would rather be anywhere in the world but here. He says, "Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, sir. You couldn't be more wrong," James responded. "Genuinely, and if it looked like that, I'm so sorry, but when you come up and present an award, just get on with it." Patrick kept the argument going, making fun of Corden's weight. "From where I was, I could see your belly, and that was from right at the back of the room." As the actor paused, James Corden hit back, "I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on. Now go on. You could see my belly, but we can all see you dying right now," James continued, saying, "Can we get a taxi really quickly, please? There's an old man going home." Yikes. Next, we have another James, not James Corden this time, but YouTuber James Charles. James has gone through a ton of controversies throughout his social media career. In 2018, Charles was experiencing backlash for his tweet about Ebola, where he tweeted, "I can't believe we're going to Africa today. OMG, what if we get Ebola?" In 2021, a 16-year-old boy claimed Charles had pressured him into exchanging photos through the Snapchat app. Charles spoke out against the allegations and claimed he had been unaware of the boy's age at the time of the interaction. But 3 more males came forward to share their negative Snapchat experiences with James, including a 17-year-old male that states James continued flirting with him after finding out his age. In the end, multiple media reports indicated that at least 15 boys and men had accused James Charles of inappropriate behavior. But perhaps the biggest controversy James has been involved in is his 2019 feud with fellow YouTuber Tati Westbrook. Tati says one reason she no longer wants to associate with James is because he's violently manipulative. Oh my god, you tried to trick a straight man into thinking he's gay yet again, and somehow you're the victim. It's really disgusting to manipulate somebody's sexuality, especially when they're emerging into adulthood and don't quite have everything figured out, she says, recalling a phone call of theirs where he shared details. She also says he used his fame and money to threaten, ruin, and embarrass men who didn't reciprocate his advances. Our next most hated celeb is Amber Heard. Now, we all know Amber has been in the media over the last few years for some pretty bad stuff. The infamous Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial of 2022 included some troubling details about Amber. He said she would also have affairs frequently with male celebrities such as James Franco and her ex Elon Musk. In 2020, phone recordings were released in which Amber admitted to hitting Johnny Depp. Amber is heard saying, "I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you, babe. You're not punched. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was just hitting you." Meanwhile, Depp said in the recording, "I left last night. Honestly, I swear to you, because I just couldn't take the idea of more physicality, because had we continued it, it would have gotten bad. And baby, I told you this once, I'm scared to death. We are a crime scene right now, Depp continued. Amber replied, I can't promise you I won't get physical again. God, I sometimes get so mad I lose it. Let's just say after all this came to light, Amber is not the most liked celeb currently. The next celebrity is Chrissy Teigen, married to John Legend. Chrissy Teigen has had her fair share of controversies, mainly coming from Twitter. In 2014, Ariana Grande rose to fame, and Chrissy seemed jealous of her newfound success, randomly posting to Twitter one day, I love your cat ear headband. It alerts me to immediately hate you. Well, that's random, Chrissy. And it's because of these random outbursts that people dislike her and continue to. Our next hated celebrity is Elon Musk. Elon is disliked by the public for the following reasons. He's made sexist and racist comments and reportedly abandoned his child after they came out as transgender. Also, his alleged poor treatment of his workers and his purchase of Twitter and his subsequent unbanning of many controversial people are just a few more reasons why people hate Elon Musk. Next on the list we have Kanye West. Kanye has been hated by the public for a really long time. Do you guys remember the Taylor Swift incident? If you don't, let me give you a quick refresh. At the 2009 VMAs, Taylor won Best Pop Music Video. While she was on stage accepting the award, Kanye leaped on stage taking the mic from Swift and saying, Beyoncé deserved the award, not her. Oh, yikes. Our next hated celeb on the list is Kanye's ex-wife, Kim Kardashian. Kim has been in a string of controversies her entire career, and many argue this is how she stays relevant. One of Kim's biggest controversies also involved Taylor Swift. After Kanye West's song Famous came out, Swift publicly stated she had no clue about the song and was angry because the song had some pretty crude things to say about her. But then Kim Kardashian releases several video clips of a phone conversation between West and Swift in which he appears to get her support for the provocative lyrics. Kim K called Taylor a liar, and there a feud began. Our final celebrity on the list is Ariana Grande. Ariana has been in the news lately for her cheating scandal with Ethan Slater, but this is not the first time Ariana has come under fire for cheating. The late Naya Rivera, the star of Glee, had some tea to spill in her book. Ariana began dating Naya's ex-fiance Big Sean not too long after they called off their wedding plans in 2014. According to Naya, all was not well in their relationship. She and Big Sean had been fighting frequently while he was on the road. That's not the most fun thing to go through, but it is about to get even more dramatic. According to Refinery 29, one chapter in the book contains the following quote, on the day that he was back in LA, he said he didn't want to see me, but since she had a key, she let herself into his house. I walk in, go downstairs, and guess what little girl is sitting cross-legged on the couch listening to music. It rhymes with Samariana Shamande.